Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Cody the Coin Raptor, and in today's video, I want to go ahead and give an update on GBTC and where it has gone in the last 6 months since I made my last video. Before I get to that, be sure to subscribe, be sure to hit that like button, and be sure to follow me on X and also Threads. So, GBTC has seen a large outflow, a large series of outflows over the past year. Since about the time that Bitcoin spot ETFs have been authorized, GBTC has actually lost about $21 billion in value. And now you can actually see here that GBTC is the third largest Bitcoin spot ETF according to net assets. I'm on the SoSo Value website here. IBIT is in first with $52 billion, and then FBTC is actually in second with just a little bit more than currently, with GBTC sitting at about $19.36 billion. Now, the reason for this is obvious, for me anyways, and that is because GBTC has been uncompetitive, frankly, because of the incredibly high fees that they charge. In fact, if you go ahead and take a look at Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, if you take a look at the GBTC net flows over the last year, you can see something startling. And this is kind of the weekly net flow. These are all outflows. All of these massive outflows here that seem to kind of taper off after about May, but then seem to have reaccelerated again during about November, December timeframe. And so what this tells me is that even after Bitcoin climbed to 100K plus, we still saw massive outflows from GBTC either to other Bitcoin spot ETFs or to other investment vehicles. In fact, if you compare this to BlackRock's Bitcoin Trust IBIT, the results here are startling, and you can kind of see the main reason why Bitcoin went from 70 to 100K so quickly is because we saw large inflows to the funds like IBIT and FBTC, and those seem to have come at the expense of GBTC. Now, again, the reason for that largely, I think, is because that expense ratio sitting at about 1.5% compared to something like IBIT, which has an expense ratio of 0.12%. And so this is just not really a competitive product. These are supposed to be relatively identical products, and yet for some reason GBTC continues to hold an incredibly high expense ratio when they're providing the same exact service as something like an IBIT. In fact, Grayscale knows that it's an uncompetitive product, and for that reason, they even came up with what they call the Grayscale Bitcoin Mini Trust, which is another Bitcoin spot ETF that they put out that has now been trading for the last 3, 4, 5 months. And the expense ratio for this is now at 0.15%. Okay, so this is something I talked about in that first video about 6 months ago. The fact that they had to put together this mini trust ETF shows the fact that their product is not competitive. And I think that what we're going to wind up seeing in the future is we're going to see more outflows from Grayscale, from GBTC, until it is in the bottom half of Bitcoin spot ETFs, because quite frankly, there's just no way that they can continue to offer a similar product when competitors are out there offering a competitive product that's much cheaper from an expense ratio point of view. I think the only thing really holding up GBTC right now is that people who have invested in it for a long period of time, maybe they don't want to take capital gains right now, so they're not interested in selling completely. But I do think this is going to change over time, especially as people start lapping the massive gains over the last year, and then they wind up taking that taxable gains at some point and putting the money into a competitor like IBIT or FBTC or maybe even ARK's Bitcoin Trust. So I think looking at this 6 months on, GBTC continues to fall and fall and fall, and I do think that it's going to continue to fall even further as long as they don't change that expense ratio. Now, there's not really there's not really any more news about that. They haven't really discussed anything like that. They have a hard time making their case about how exactly they're going to put out a competitive product. But if there's any more information or anything like that, I will definitely let you guys know. For now, my preferred Bitcoin spot ETF investment vehicle is IBIT because of the much lower expense ratio, and I would definitely, I would definitely hold off on if you're looking at Bitcoin spot ETFs. Do your research ahead of time. Not financial advice, but I think most people tend to agree that either IBIT or maybe even an FBTC is an attractive option if you want Bitcoin exposure. Anyways, that's all I've got for you guys today. Just a quick video discussing my opinion on GBTC and where it's come in the last 6 months since I've last talked about it. So if you guys are interested in seeing more content like this, leave a comment below, subscribe, hit the like button, share. I greatly appreciate that. And also follow me on Threads and X. This is Cody the Coin Raptor, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.